All right, welcome. Good morning. Good afternoon. It's morning here in Japan. Welcome everyone who is joining right now. And if you're watching on the replay, welcome. I hope you guys enjoy today's lesson. Today we're going to have a fun lesson. We're going to learn how to make some really important, some really important questions that will help you become more fluent. So again, if you're joining me live, welcome. Good morning or good afternoon or wherever you are watching from. I don't know what time it is there. Let me know in the comment section. And if you're watching on the replay, I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. Remember, you can always ask questions even during the replay as well. So if there's something that you don't understand during this lesson, just add a comment during the replay and I will get back to you. All right, XYZ family, good morning from Japan. Good morning. I hope you're having a good morning today. It is a pretty nice day here in Japan. Autumn is finally here. And so the weather is a little bit cooler. It's not as humid. So I'm a big fan of that. Now, remember also, don't forget to check out my YouTube channel as well. I have a lot of videos over there. Also, TikTok, check my TikTok out as well. I'll put out links on that. You can find links on my YouTube as well. TikTok, I have a lot of short videos, so check that out as well as my Instagram. Okay, so let's get right to it. Today, we are going to practice how to ask for permission. We're going to ask about how we can ask for permission. This means that I want to do something. But before I do it, it's important that I ask somebody that if it's okay. I can't just do it. Of course, if I'm alone, I can do things. But if I'm in public, if I am at work, before I do something, I must ask if it's okay. And that is what we're going to be studying today. We're going to be studying how to make permission questions. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. I want to jump right into it today, so everybody can start their morning off with a good English lesson. Okay, let's see if we can. Oh, something's happening here. Something is happening. It's not letting me share. Oh no. Let's try this again. All right, just bear with me for 1 second here. We're having some issues with not being able to share on this. I want to share my screen so that you guys can see my lesson, but it is not letting me. I do not know why. Let's see if I can do something else here. Well, while we're waiting for me to figure out how to fix the share, I'm going to share with you how we can make permission questions. One of the most common ways to make a permission question will be by asking the question, can I? Can I? So whenever you want to do something, it is, can I? And then next, we need to have a verb. Okay. 1 second here. Okay, just bear with me, everybody, while I figure this out. I'm going to reopen my lesson to see if that works. YFS, good morning. How are you today? Are you having a good morning, YFS? Okay, I think I'm going to have to do it another way. I don't want to restart the live stream. Otherwise, I'll lose whoever is on here. So I'm going to try to find a workaround. Now, let's see. Let's see if I can figure out another way to do this. It's not going to be as nice. Yeah, you know what? I think maybe I'm going to restart this live stream. Just bear with me. I'm going to restart this computer. I'll try to come right back for you guys. All right, so please come back. I'll be right back. Thank you, XYZ. Okay, I am back. Let me know if you can see me. Sorry for the small technical difficulty. Apparently, I needed to update my Google Chrome browser. That's why it was not letting me share my screen. If you can see me, please let me know. And again, I apologize. Welcome back. Let's start this all over again. Welcome to the lesson this morning. Thanks for joining me. Again, if you're on the replay, welcome as well. So let's get right into it. Let's jump in and let's see if it lets me share my screen. And yes, I think it will. There we go. I can see my screen. I hope you can see. If you can see the screen, if you can see the lesson on the screen, just give me a thumbs up or leave a comment in the comment section so I know that everybody can see it. Today, we are going to be studying permission. Permission, as I said at the very beginning of this lesson, today is a permission lesson. YFS, welcome back. Thank you. Can you see the screen? XYZ, thank you. Thanks for the delay. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so let's look at permission. That's what we're going to be studying today. And I'm going to zoom into this a little bit so everybody can see. Now, permission is when I want to do something. If I want to do something, before I do it, I should ask someone. Now, if you joined me in my previous live lesson, we practiced making requests. We did can you questions, could you questions. In that question, a request is I don't want to do it. I want you to do it. So my question is can you or could you? But today is the opposite. Today is I want to do it, but I have to make sure that it's okay. So my question will be using can I? Can I? Now, just like I did in the request lesson, I'm going from casual all the way down to formal. All right, so can is going to be the most casual. And then if you look down, I've got would you mind if I, that is going to be the most polite. Now, I've said this in my other lessons as well. Remember, even though can is casual, it's okay to use. Don't worry about using can when you're speaking English. It's not rude. It's very, very common English. I use it all of the time. So let's look at some example permission questions. The very first one is, can I use your eraser? Can I use your eraser? So if you are in class, maybe you're studying, you're in class, and you need to erase something, but you don't have an eraser, but your neighbor, your friend has an eraser. You want to use the eraser, but you can't just take it. You need to ask. So, can I use your eraser? Then we've got could I? Could I borrow your cell phone? So I want to use your cell phone. So it's could I borrow your cell phone? Now we're getting even more polite when we say may I. Okay, and if you look here in my subject, I've got may we. I didn't have may I because in this situation, there's more than one person. So it's may we. And the permission question is, may we use your car? All right, so we, maybe my friend and I, maybe my brother and I, my sister and I, we want to use your car. So I must ask you, may we use your car? Now, the next one is a little bit interesting. It's be allowed to. Be allowed to. This one is a little bit unique because we're not asking if I can do something. Be allowed to is talking about rules. I'm talking about rules. So if I want to know if something is okay to do, a rule, then I use be allowed to. Kaz, good morning, ohagozaimasu. Thank you for joining me this morning. Thank you, thank you. I hope you have a good lesson today. So again, be allowed to is talking about rules. So let's look at the example question. It says, are we allowed to take photos here? Are we allowed to take photos here? So maybe I am at a museum. Maybe I'm in an art gallery and I want to take a photo, but I don't know if it's okay. I don't know the rules. So maybe I would ask a security guard, are we allowed to take photos here? Or maybe, am I allowed? So if we look at this grammar, we're using the be verb. Okay, so if we use the be verb, we have three choices. We can use am, we could use is, or we could use are. So am, is, or are is how we start the question. So make sure your be verb and your subject are matching. So we've got, are we allowed to take photos here? If I change the subject to I, then it's, am I allowed to take photos here? So I want to know the rules for this. So make sure you match your subject and your verb. All right, we got some more people joining here. Mitsuko, good morning. Good to see you. Fisa ohagozaimasu. Good to see you as well. Thank you for joining. And you, and I don't know how many numbers, how many zeros that is. Well, let's say 5 and a lot of zeros. 5 million, 5 trillion. Welcome. Good morning. You seem very excited today. Okay, so let's get back into our be allowed to. So the next two are the most interesting one. The next two are the most polite. In the next two, you're using do you mind if I and would you mind if I. Now, both of these need to have a verb after it, but the verbs are going to be a little bit different. If you notice in my example sentence, one sentence is saying, do you mind if I sit down? Do you mind if I sit down? That means I want to sit down and I'm asking someone, do you mind if I sit down? And then if we look at the bottom question, it says, would you mind if I turned up the TV? Would you mind if I turned up the TV? Turn up means to increase the volume. It means to increase the volume. So would you mind if I turned up the TV? So I have a question for everyone who's watching. What is the difference? What do you notice about these two questions? We're using do you mind if I plus a verb. So we've got sit. In the bottom one, would you mind if I, and we've got turned up. What do you notice about these two questions? What is the difference between these two? So again, do you mind if I sit down? Versus, would you mind if I turned up the TV? Okay, and I'm going to give you another hint here. Let's go back to the grammar pattern. Now, if we look, we are going to be using do you mind if I plus a verb. And would you mind is also a verb. So in these questions, what's the difference between these two verbs? We've got sit and turned up. Of course, they're different meanings. What's the difference? All right, so XYZ, one is present tense and one is past tense. XYZ, perfect. You are completely correct. Yes, so if you look, would you mind has a past tense verb, and do you mind has a present tense verb. This is something that you have to remember. Whenever we are using do you mind, you have to use, not you can, but you have to use a present tense verb. And when you use would you mind, this verb must be past tense. Every time you use would you mind, your answer, your verb must be past tense. Okay, so does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so make sure this is a past tense verb. And I'll put it on here as well. So would you mind if I plus a past verb? And do you mind is just going to have a regular verb. Now, I'll be honest with everyone. If you forget, if you're using would you mind and you use a regular verb, if you're, in conversation in Canada, in America, nobody will care. Nobody will care. That's completely fine. The grammar is wrong, but nobody cares about that. But if you're writing a test, if you're doing some type of English test, then you have to remember, would you mind is always followed by a past verb. Okay, let's move on. Let's practice making some questions here. But let's go over one more point. When we give permission, if I want to do something, somebody asks me, can I borrow a pencil? Can I borrow a pencil? My answer would be, yes, you can. No, you can't. Now, if we use the question, could I borrow a pencil? My answer must be, yes, you can. My answer must be, yes, you can. So with a could question, please do not answer, yes, you could. Do not answer, no, you couldn't. You have to use, yes, you can, or no, you can't. Okay, so make sure you remember that when you're answering a question. Whenever somebody uses a could I question, please answer using can. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Just be careful of that. When you answer the question, please use can, not could. This was the same when we do requests as well. So let's practice making some questions. First, we're going to go over a simple exercise. We've got a sentence, a question with a blank space. You need to choose one of the verbs from the top and please put it into the blank space. So number one, it says, can I something your eraser? Can I something your eraser? What verb will you use for this situation? Can I something your eraser? So just leave your answer in the comment section if you know what the correct verb is. Can I something your eraser? Okay, so I'll start the ball rolling here. For me, I will choose, can I borrow your eraser? Can I borrow your eraser? Can I use your eraser? XYZ also, very good. That is also correct. Mitsuko, can I use your eraser? Perfect. All right, so everybody had a different answer than me. I said, can I borrow your eraser? So we have two possible answers here. Okay, let's move on. What about number two? Could I something down here? right, so could I something down here? Mitsuko, perfect. Could I sit down here? XYZ also perfect answer, and YFS as well. Perfect. Can I sit down here? This means, I want you to imagine maybe you are at a cafe, and recently cafes have the communal table. That means anybody can sit at the table. So if you see an empty space, maybe you'll ask the person, could I sit down here? How do we answer this question? How do we answer this question? If somebody asks you, could I sit down here? If it's okay, what is your answer? So remember, whenever you have a could I question, we always answer it by saying, yes, you can. Or, I'm sorry, no, you can't. All right, so to answer a could I question, yes, you can. XYZ, perfect. You need it. I'm sorry, I went a little fast. I get excited. I want to give the answer. But XYZ, perfect. Okay, let's move on. Number three. It's very hot inside. It's very hot inside. May I something the window? May I something the window? So it's very hot. You're inside. It's very hot. What will you ask in this situation? Which verb will you choose? May I? All right, Mitsuko, perfect. May I open the window? May I open the window? That is perfect. May I open the window? All right, number 4. The volume is so loud. The volume is so loud. Can I something it something? The volume is so loud. Can I something it something? So that means maybe the TV volume, maybe the stereo volume is very, very loud. What do you want to do? All right, so we've got from XYZ, turn down. Can I turn it down? Turn down means to decrease, reduce the volume. YFS, turn it down, perfect. The opposite of turn down is turn up. All right, so if I want to decrease volume, I say turn down. But if I want to increase the volume, we say turn up, turn up. So the opposite here of turn down is going to be turn up. So make sure you remember that vocabulary word also. These two are opposites. All right, let's go to the next one. May I something your car? I need to pick up my friend from the airport. May I something your car? What is the correct answer here? All right, so we've got Mitsuko, may I use your car? Perfect. Z and N, may I use your car? Z and N, welcome. All right, so may I use your car? All right, XYZ family, you had may I borrow your car? This is also correct. YFS, may I use your car? So number 1 and number 5, you can use them interchangeably. So you can use or borrow. So both of these are correct. So may I use your car? May I borrow your car? Both of those are correct. All right. And the last one, I think it's one that's really important because this is in a restaurant. In this situation, the waiter has come to your table. The waiter asks you, are you ready to order? But you're not ready. You're not ready. So it's important we ask a question to the waiter. And could we some more time, please? Could we some more time, please? What verb will you choose here? And if you want to use a different verb, one that's not in the list, that's also okay. Mitsuko, perfect answer. Could we have some more time, please? Could we have some more time? So the correct answer in this situation is going to be have. Now, I don't have this verb in the list, but another option, another verb we can use in this situation is get. Could get some more time, please? That is also a correct answer. It's not in the list. Have is in the list. So have is the correct answer for today. But please remember, get is also possible in this situation. We get some more time, please. So YFS, XYZ, perfect. You guys both answered it perfectly. Okay, so in this, I've given you the verbs. So let's make the next exercise a little bit more difficult. In the next exercise, you have to think of the verb. I'm not going to give you any of the verbs. So if we look at the next exercise, I'm giving you the question word and I'm giving you the object. I'm giving you the noun. So I want you to think of the verb. So we're getting a little bit more difficult now. All right. So, all right, you 5 million or trillion. Yes, you can. All right. Let's look at the example. We've got can and pencil. So my example question for this is, can I borrow a pencil? Can I borrow your pencil? All right. So number 1, I've got the question word could, and I've got some money. Could plus some money. Question. What verb will you use to make a question for number 1? So could something some money. Don't forget the subject. Don't forget the verb. And just to start everybody off, I'll give you the beginning. We're always going to be using could I, could we. Could I something some money? Maybe you're at a cafe, you forgot your wallet. You're going to ask your friend. What will you ask your friend? Could I something some money? What is your permission question for this? And I know some of you are probably typing on your smartphone, so it's going to take time. So I will try to be patient. Z and N, could I borrow some money? That is a perfect answer. All right, so could I borrow some money? Could I borrow some money? And of course, I don't forget the question mark there. Excellent, very good. You know, a lot of times if you want something, borrow is going to be a great verb to use. It's quite useful. Now, I got some good answers here. Mitsuko says, could you lend me some money? And XYZ also says, could you lend me some money? Now, these questions are perfect. These questions are perfect. The grammar is perfect. And in this situation, that is a perfect question. But that question is a request. That question is a request. I'm asking you to do something. So it is a perfect question. And in this situation, you can use that. But in today's lesson, we want to practice could I. So could I borrow? And could you lend? The meaning is the same. One is a request, one is permission. In today's lesson, it's permission. So could I? XYZ family, yeah, you realize now I needed to use could I. Sorry, no, you don't need to say sorry. That's okay. We're all learning together, so don't worry. So use, could I use some money? Technically, that is a correct answer. Grammatically, that is a perfect answer. But in this situation, you don't have money, so you want the money. So you would ask a friend to borrow it. Using is probably not so common in this situation. Use is more a physical object. Maybe you're going to use it and give it back. But with money, if you use it, it's gone. So borrow, have, you know, those are going to be more common. But use, you is a perfect answer also. Grammatically, it's perfect, but I would suggest borrow instead. Okay, number 2. Let's try number 2 here. What is your answer for number 2? May and eraser. I'm going to make this smaller. May and eraser. So you are in class. Maybe you is answering the number 2. May I use your eraser? May I use your eraser? If that was your answer, I apologize. May I use your eraser? Now, again, this one, you can say borrow again. You can say borrow again. May I borrow your eraser? All right, XYZ, may I use your eraser? That is perfect. Okay, so number 1 and number 2, I think, are not that difficult. We're using that same verb, borrow. All right, number 3, we're going to start getting a little bit more difficult. Mitsuko, may I borrow your eraser? Perfect. All right, number 3, can and break. Can and break. Now, the only hint I am going to give you in this situation, break is not a verb. Break is not a verb. In this situation, break is a noun. YFS, may I use your eraser? Perfect. Perfect answer, YFS. Great job. All right, so number 3. may, or sorry, number 3, can and break. And the hint I'm giving you, break is not a verb. I'm not going to break something. This is a noun. This is a noun. Who can make a question for number 3? Can and break. So remember, it's can I, can I. I'll give you one more hint. I'm in a giving mood today. Oh, there we go. XYZ has already actually answered. Can I have some break? You are on the right idea, XYZ. You're almost there. Z and N. Can I have some break? That's the correct idea. It's the correct idea. Now we're gonna change it. YFS. Can I get some break time? Can I get some break time? Very, very close. All 3 of you, your answers are very close. You're almost there. Unfortunately, we're not going to use have or get. We are going to use a different verb. Does anybody else want to try? Can we have some break? All right, almost. So great. So we have that have. So I think a lot of people, when we use break, you want to have. That's a common verb we might want to use. But when we're talking about break, first of all, if we just look at this word here, a break is a countable noun. Z and N. Can I take? Very good. That is the correct verb to use. Whenever we're talking about break, the verb we want to use is take. Now, second, break is countable. It's a countable noun. So that means I can count it. So, for example, today I took 2 breaks. Maybe tomorrow I'll take 5 breaks. So in this situation, I want 1 break. I want 1 break. So can I take, if it's just 1, what do I say? XYZ, close. Can I take some? Excuse me. Some is a plural word. If you use some, your noun needs an S. Some breaks. Some breaks. But if it's just 1, right, I'm tired right now. I need just 1 break, maybe 5 minutes. Can I take? What word will we use? Everybody, you're very close here. All right, YFS with the perfect answer. Can I take a break? Can I take a break? Break is countable. So we always ask, can I take a break? And I want you to remember that whenever we are using the word break, right, it's always take a break. Take a break. Okay, so those words, it's kind of a combination. Try to remember that combination. So, can I take a break? So I want in this situation, maybe you're at work and you're super tired, right? You just need 5 minutes. So you ask your boss, can I take a break? Mitsuko, perfect. Very good. Can I take a break? Number 4, let's move on to may and cell phone. May and cell phone. What is your answer for this? Maybe your cell phone is dead. You need to, you need a cell phone. What will you ask for this? May and cell phone. So again, remember, our subject will be I, may I. It's something you want to do. You want to do this. So may I, everybody's probably writing on their smartphones, and I'm a very impatient person at times, but I will give everybody time to answer. All right. Mitsuko, may I use your cell phone? XYZ, may I use your cell phone? ZNN, may I borrow your cell phone? Yes, all of those are correct. So use and borrow, as we can see, it's quite common when we are using permission. May I use your cell phone? May I borrow your cell phone? YFS also, may I use your cell phone? Okay, number five, let's move on. Could and air conditioner, could and air conditioner. Excuse me. There can be many answers for this. It depends on the situation. Now, also, in English, we always want to try to shorten everything. We like to shorten everything in English. So our pronunciation, we join words together. We shorten words. So for air conditioner, we want to make this shorter. So usually we just say AC, AC. All right. So instead of using air conditioner, you can say AC. So what type of permission question will you use for this? Could and then air conditioner. Now, again, it depends on your situation. Maybe it's very hot in the room. Maybe it's very cold in the room. In both those situations, your verb will be different. All right, so could and AC. Who has an answer for this? Okay, Mitsuko, could I turn on the air conditioner? Very good. Could I turn on the air conditioner? Maybe it's very warm in the room. You want to turn it on. Perfect answer. What about right now? In fact, I just grabbed my AC remote control. It is very cold in this room right now. It's very, very cold. I put the AC on and the temperature was super, super cold. ZNN, could I turn down the AC? Could I turn down the AC? Perfect. Here, turn down means you're going to decrease the temperature. You're going to decrease the temperature. XYZ, could I turn the AC on? Perfect. Perfect. In your question, you put the AC between turn and on. That is also perfect. I did the opposite. It was too cold in this room. I turned the AC up. I turned the AC up. It was too cold, so I turned it up. All right, perfect. Let's do number 6. Let's do number 6. Could and photo. could, and photo. YFS, could you turn off the AC? Good. Here it's the opposite. Maybe it's too cold, so you turn off the AC. Very good. Now, what about photo? What about photo? In this situation, maybe you want to do something, but you must ask before you do it. So what's the verb that we use for photo? And remember, I've said it before, if you are answering this, it's always yes, you can, no, you can't. Z and N. Perfect. Could I take your photo? Could I take your photo? Perfect answer, Z and N. Could I take your photo? Whenever you have the noun photo, the verb is always take. XYZ, this is also a really good question. This is a request, but it's really useful. Could you take a picture of us? Could you take a picture of us? Excellent question. It is a request, though. So you want someone to do something. But I like this question. When you're traveling, if you're on vacation and maybe you want your photo, so you would ask a stranger, could you take a photo, or could you take a picture of us? Mitsuko, could I take photos here? Excellent. Could I take photos here? Maybe you're at a museum, maybe you're in an art gallery. You have to ask, could I take photos here? And YFS, could I take a picture? Could I take a picture? Good. I like it. Could I take a picture? You're asking someone if you're allowed to take a picture. Maybe you see a celebrity. Can I take your picture? Okay, everybody, great job. But we're going to get a little bit more difficult now. Now, so far, I've given you the verbs. Next, you thought of the verbs to use. In the final exercise, I'm going to give you a situation. So in that situation, what permission question will you use? So in this situation, you have to think, okay, so in this situation, what question will I make? This is very useful because it will help you use it in real life. All right, so this is the most difficult one. So let's try here. And I'll give you an example of how we will do this. So in my example right here, it says, you are in school, you don't have a pencil. All right, very simple situation. You're in school, you're in class, you don't have a pencil. What will you ask your classmate? So I will ask my classmate, can I borrow a pencil? Can I borrow a pencil? All right, that's my permission question. Can I borrow a pencil? Okay, so let's look at number one. Number one says, you are at your friend's apartment and you want to make a phone call. Maybe your phone is dead. So you want to make a phone call. Now, I've said that sentence a couple of times before. I'm going to type it in here. Your phone is dead. Your phone is dead. Does anybody understand what that means? Your phone is dead. What does that mean? Your phone is dead. You know, dead, we usually use it for people, for living things, animals, plants, humans. But in this, I'm saying my phone is dead. So, you know, this phone, it's dead. What does that mean? Mitsuko, you've got a answer here. May I use your cell phone? Zen, ZNN, no battery or broken. So usually, ZNN, if your battery is completely, you know, it has no charge, then we say your phone is dead. We usually don't say if it's broken. Usually, if you know my phone is dead, then we're talking about the battery. So perfect answer here. XYZ family, you don't have any battery on your phone. Yeah, that's the right idea. So the battery has no charge. You need to charge the phone. And Mitsuko, your answer for this situation is perfect. May I use your cell phone? All right, so you want to make a phone call. So you answered, may I use your cell phone? Perfect. Okay, let's look at situation number 2. We're getting a little bit more difficult here now. Situation number 2. You have gone into a cafe with your friend. Your table only has one chair. The table next to you has many unused chairs. What will you ask the people at the next table? All right, this is a very common situation. You go into a cafe with your friend. Your table only has one chair, but there's 2 of you. Luckily, the neighboring table, they have a lot of unused chairs. What will you ask them? And let's make our sentence really polite. Let's practice a little bit more difficult grammar. So in this situation, I'd like you to make a sentence, make a question using would you mind if I plus past verb. Would you mind if I plus past verb? So I'd like you to use this grammar structure for situation number 2. Would you mind if I plus the past verb? So what verb will you use in this situation? Would you mind if I plus a past verb? And there are many answers for this. So don't worry. We can use a lot of different verbs. I'll give you the standard verb that most people will use, but I'll also give you a fun verb that I use in this situation. All right, so would you mind if I, and then don't forget, my verb must be past tense. All right, so XYZ family, would you mind if I used a chair? Perfect question. So you use the past tense of use, which is used. Would you mind if I used a chair? Excellent. I think this is the most standard question. Would you mind if I used a chair? Mitsuko answered, would you mind if I borrowed this chair? Also correct. We could use borrow. Would you mind if I borrowed this chair? And I like, Mitsuko, you said this chair because you are maybe pointing to a specific chair. So maybe you're using the hand gesture. Would you mind if I borrowed this chair? So that was very good using the word this. All right, now those are the standard answers. Now let me give you a kind of a fun one that I use. I sometimes I'll speak a little bit more casually, a little bit more playfully. So I use a different verb. I'm still going to be very polite. I'll say, would you mind? It doesn't change. But sometimes I will say, would you mind if I stole this chair? Would you mind if I stole this chair? Now, stole is the past tense of steal. All right, steal. Steal is a bad word. Usually, robbers, burglars, they steal something. But of course, I'm not stealing it. It's not their chair. It means, can I use the chair? But I'm just being a little bit more playful. Would you mind if I stole this chair? YFS, would you mind if I took one of the chairs? Excellent. Also a very, very good verb to use. So would you mind if I took one of the chairs? All right. So if you noticed, we are using 4 different verbs in this situation. The meaning is all the same. Would you mind if I used this chair? Would you mind if I borrowed this chair? Would you mind if I took one of these chairs? And would you mind if I stole this chair? All of them have the same meaning. But in English, we always have a variety of verbs that we can use in many situations. All right, great job, everybody. The next situation is a little bit interesting. This is very typical North American culture, American and Canadian culture. Number 3 says, you want to make a cake. You want to make a cake, but you realize you don't have any sugar, right? If you want to make a cake, you sugar. If you don't put sugar in your cake, that would not taste good. So you don't have sugar. You go to your neighbor's house. What will you ask? YFS, stole. Is it common to say in native speakers? Yes, it's very common. It's very, very common. Would you mind if I stole this chair? Steal, it's a negative word. We use it for robbers and burglars, but the situation, I'm not stealing, but it's very common. It's very playful. It's very casual, but it's kind of fun. So, it's not something the person will be surprised. It's very, very common. Would you mind if I stole this chair? You just want to use something. I've done this, not just chairs. If I'm at a restaurant and I have some French fries and the neighboring table has a ketchup bottle on their table. My table doesn't have ketchup. Of course, I can ask the waiter, the waitress, can I get some ketchup? But I'm very talkative. I'm not shy. I'll look at the neighboring table and just say, hey, can I steal your ketchup? Okay. I'm just going to borrow it. I'm going to use it and then give it back. So it's very common. So yeah, YFS, great question. It is very common. So back to number 3. You want to make a cake. You don't have any sugar. You go to your neighbor's house. What do you ask your neighbor? What do you ask your neighbor? And I know if some of you, I think, are watching from Japan, and I think in Japan, this concept is very strange. And maybe you're watching in another sort of maybe from Europe or in African area or Latin America. Maybe this is strange for you. But in America and Canada, it is quite common. We always have a very close or usually a good relationship with our neighbors. In fact, not always, but we try. We try to have a good relationship. So in this situation, it's quite common if you don't have something, especially when you are cooking, you just go to the neighbor's house and ask. And we've got, would you mind if I borrowed some sugar from Mitsuko? Perfect. Perfect. Would you mind if I borrowed some sugar? That is a perfect answer. And it's quite common. It's strange, but I think maybe in Canada, in America, you know, our stores, our cities, our country is so big. So if I need sugar going to a supermarket, it might take me a long time to go there. But my neighbor is just next door. So I'll just ask the neighbor, hey, would you mind if I borrowed some sugar? YFS, borrow some sugar. Perfect. Perfect. All right. I think you are behind in some of these answers, but would you mind? Could I use the chair? So here you've joined two of them. You should separate it. So maybe in this situation, I would say, would you mind if I used the chair? Or could I use the chair? Could I use the chair? So separate those two. So would you mind and could I? Don't put it together. Okay, let's do two more. Number 4. This is also a very useful one if you are working, if you go to work. I want you to imagine you're at work, you're not feeling well. Maybe you have a fever, you're not feeling well. So you go into your boss's office or you go to your boss's desk. What will you ask your boss? Okay, you're not feeling well, you're at work, you might have a fever. What will you ask your boss? And again, let's practice using would you mind, because this is a big question. You need to be very polite. So would you mind if and then what will you ask your boss? I'll put the answer for number 3 in here while I'm waiting. So number 4, again, you're at work, but you're not feeling well. You are ill. You are sick. It's not just a sore throat. It's not a runny nose. Maybe you have a fever. So what will you ask your boss? And let's use would you mind if plus the past verb. This is a very polite question. And in this situation, I think it's important that we are polite. All right, who would like to try this situation? You're at work, you're not feeling well, you got a fever. All right, XYZ, would you mind if I went home? I don't feel. This is a great answer. This is perfect because you asked the question and you gave a reason why. So this is a perfect answer. Would you mind if I went home? Remember, we have to use the past tense. So we don't say, would you mind if I go home? Would you mind if I went home? All right, perfect. Well done. And I'm going to put the answer onto the screen here for everybody. Okay, and the reason as well. Why your answer here is, would you mind if I took a day off? Perfect. Here you use the different verb. So instead of go home or went home, you want to take a day off. So would you mind if I took a day off? Excellent. And I'll put that one in here as well. I think that was also a great answer. So I'm going to put that onto the screen as well for everybody to see. All right, so would you mind if I took a day off? Mitsuko, would you mind if I went home? Because I don't feel, one more word, I don't feel. Well. I don't feel good. Good is incorrect grammar, but it's okay to say I don't feel good. I don't feel well. Okay, excellent. All right, so you've got, would you mind if I stole your sugar? Perfect. Mitsuko, well, there you go. You put the last word in. Well done. Good. Okay, let's do one more today for permission. Number 5. The last one today. You cannot finish, again, in this situation, we are at work. Okay? You cannot finish the report on time. You can't finish your report on time. You need one more week. It's going to take you one more week to do this. So you go into your boss's office, and what will you ask? And in this one, you could use can I, you could use could I, you could use may I, you could use would you mind if I, or you can use do you mind if I. Most likely, this is a big question. So if it's very important, being more polite is the better option. All right, so again, let's raise this up here. You cannot finish the report on time. You need one more week. You go into your boss's office. What will you ask? And my advice is, again, would you mind? And if anybody here, if you're watching this on a replay, so you're not watching it live, put all your answers in the comment section. I will check. Of course, the live chat right now, live stream, I'm checking real time and I can answer you right away. But if you watch this later, make sure you answer all of these questions. Put them into the comment section and I will check your answers. All right, so again, you need one more week. You can't finish this report. You need one more week. What will you ask your boss? This is probably the most difficult one in today's situations. Okay, so XYZ, you've got a answer here. Would you mind if I asked for one more week to finish the report? Very, very close. Very, very close. So you've got, would you mind if I? That's a question. Then you have asked. That's also a question. So it's question, question. So we don't want to use the verb asked. You don't want to we must use a different verb in this situation. So would you mind if I something? The rest of your question is perfect. One more week to finish the report. One more week to finish the report. So what is a different verb we can use? Would you mind? I'll keep your answer up here. This will help the other people as well. Would you mind if I one more week to finish that report? What is this? What is this action? Would you mind if I one more week to finish that report? All right, so YFS, would you mind if I told you to give me one more week to finish the report? Grammatically, you're not so bad here. The grammar is pretty good. There's a couple of mistakes, but you don't want to tell your boss anything. You want to ask your boss for something. So would you mind if I told you to give me one more week to finish the report? Grammar is okay, but it's too strong. It's too strong. Mitsuko, would you mind if I took one more week? That's okay. If you're going to take another week, yeah, that would work. That's a good answer. Now, I'm going to give you guys a hint. So you need one more week. You want one more week. Now, if you think your birthday, or let's think Christmas, on your birthday and on Christmas, you want presents. You want presents. Most people want presents. And if you are lucky, someone will give you a present. So if somebody gives you a present, you can say, I something a present. I something a present. So think about last Christmas or your last birthday. You something a present. You didn't give a present on your birthday. You know, it's coming in this direction. What verb do we use? What is the opposite of give? Giving is going this direction. What is coming this direction? All right, I'm gonna start the answer for you guys here. I'm gonna give you guys some more times. I'll give you some more time here. Okay. First, please answer my first question. What's the opposite of give? You give something, then you also, all right, XYZ, receive, perfect, receive. Make sure you're spelling, check your spelling, RECEIVE, but receive, perfect. Mitsuko, would you mind if you gave one more week? Okay, but what's the opposite of give? Okay, so XYZ answered it's receive. What is more casual than receive? YFS, get. Perfect. Get. Okay. So in this situation, I think using get is the most common verb to use. So would you mind? And would you mind if I got one more week? Would you mind if I got one more week? Okay, here this means I want to receive one more week. So would you mind if I got one more week? And we can make this question even longer. We can make it longer. We can give more details. Would you mind if I got one more week to finish the report? So whenever you're talking about time, we're often going to be, you want to receive time, you want to get time. So in this situation, you want one more week, you want to receive it, you want to get one more week. So would you mind if I got one more week to finish the report? Now, if you're in a restaurant and the waiter is asking you, are you ready to order? But you're not ready. You want more time. You want to get more time. It's the same verb. Would you mind if I got more time? Would you mind if I got some more time? Or we can be even more casual. Can I get some more time? So that means I want to receive more time. Okay, so this is very, very common. You get time. All right. And the other person will give you time. I'll give you 5 more minutes. I'll give you one more week. But the other person's receiving the time. So we get. So give and get. All right. Same thing for Christmas, for birthdays. You give a present, then you get a present. All right. Same concept. XYZ. Yeah, this one was difficult. Yeah, I think that was probably the most difficult one. You know, if you want to get time, we're always going to be using, get more time. Can I use have in this situation? Yes, you can. Very, very good question, XYZ. Yes, you can use have. Would you mind if I had one more week to finish the report? That's also okay. This is your preference. If you wanted to use had, it's okay. I don't know. I personally like to use get, but that's just my preference. So if you like have, that's also okay. All right, good, very good point, XYZ. Okay, so as you can see, there are many more situations here. So if you would like to practice more, if you'd like to get all of these situations, please leave me a message in the comment section, maybe during the replay, and I can get you all of those situations and you can practice at home. XYZ, which one is common? I think get is more common. I think get is more common. Okay, so again, if you would like to get all of these situations, if you'd like to get more of them, just leave me a comment during the replay. So during the replay, comment in there and say, Shailly, please give me more situations, and I will get that to you. Would you mind if I gave you my report after one more week? You're so close. You're so close. This is a great, would you mind if I gave you my report after one more week? very, very close. Instead of after 1 more week, please change the word after and please say in 1 more week. Would you mind if I gave you my report in 1 more week? So close. Very, very good answer though, you. Okay, one more time. Would you mind if I gave you my report in 1 more week? Whenever you're talking about the future, I know some people, it's very common to say after 1 week, after 5 days, or 1 week later, 5 days later. In that situation, please use the word in 1 week, in 5 days, in 1 year, in 10 minutes. All right. And XYZ, you're very welcome. Yes. Get, give, get and give. They're very, very common. We use them a lot. So yeah, please try to remember that. Okay, again, remember, I do have a lot of lessons on my YouTube channel. So if you want to study more, you can check out all of those videos as well. Also, don't forget, I do have TikTok with short videos as well. And I constantly update my Instagram telling you about my live lessons. I will be doing 2 live lessons every week. So you can join me during the weekday or on Saturday every morning at 7 a.m. Wow, today's class is intense. Oh, I hope it was not too intense, YFS. I hope you had fun as well. It's definitely a little bit more difficult, today's lesson. They won't be always this intense. I'll try to make them a little bit easier as well. But this is really common. It's really important, these questions. It really help your fluency. Okay, and I'd like to thank everyone for joining me. Remember, you can leave messages on the replay as well. Check out the lessons on my YouTube channel as well. Thank you very much. I hope you guys have a great day wherever you are. If it's morning where you are, have a great rest of the day. If it's in the evening, good night to you. And I will see you guys next week during the next lesson. All right, guys. See ya.